Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to a new edition of Lunch with a Shark. I am your host, Vidal Espinosa, and the Shark CFO. And today we have a host, Ana Georgia. Say hi to everyone. You're on TV. Look, Ana Georgia. Look, mira, look at the TV. Say hi. Say hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Grandma. No, okay. So she is actually busy setting up shop. She's actually going to start selling ice cream. ¿Verdad, Ana Georgia? You're selling ice cream? So she is selling ice cream. She is preparing her stand. As you can see, on the Espinosa family, entrepreneurship runs through our veins. And she has this little dessert stand, which is mostly donuts and ice cream. And she has been playing with it like crazy. The only problem here is that she does not want to sell because she thinks she's going to run out of product, and what is she going to sell? So that's the only problem that we currently have with her and we're facing. But other than that, she invites us to eat, she invites us to buy. So I'm pretty sure she is going to be an amazing physician with a very, very entrepreneurship spirit. So how are you guys doing this Friday afternoon? Thank God it's Friday. TGIF. It's been a very interesting week, to tell you. Ups and downs as everything. So everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is going to be more than okay. Business is great. How's your business going? How's your business doing? I hope you are having an amazing last quarter. You are planning and preparing for your 2020 taxes. And I just hung up a call with a client. And please be patient when it comes to the payroll protection program loans. Based on the latest American Institute of Certified Public Accountants comments, wait on filing your loan forgiveness paperwork, because we still don't know what's going to be the outcome and if there's going to be any additional round of support, benefits, grants, and they're going to fix the wording or the things that are going on with the loan forgiveness. Maybe they're going to forgive the 50%, $50,000 or under automatically, and they're going to fix the issue that if it's forgiven, then the expense, it's not deductible, making that portion taxable. So right now, what you're looking is that even though a loan it's non-taxable, once forgiven, everything is taxable. It can be considered income. But in this case, it's not going to be considered income. It's forgiven, non-taxable income. But you cannot deduct the amount that it's being forgiven from the expenses that you utilize them for. Okay, so that's actually making the loan taxable. Seek professional advice, because this is going to impact you in your taxes. If you got $20,000 loan, you're gonna owe $4,200 in taxes. Okay, consult with your advisor. And this is just federal, because if you're in the state of California and your corporation, 8.83. Now, also remember, If you are an employee and you're watching us because you want to learn about entrepreneurship and business, and you applied and received unemployment, save for those taxes, because unemployment income is taxable. Lot of people are going to have humongous tax impact, and they're going to be like, but what? I did not work. Yes, but you got unemployment, and you should have either requested them to withhold taxes, or you should be saving for those taxes. Okay, approach your tax advisor and them to do a quick calculation so you can actually save for the last couple of months those taxes. Okay, it's tax preparation season. Sorry, tax planning season. Okay, so plan, save, be proactive, reach out to your tax advisor, your tax accountant, not your bookkeeper. They do amazing books, but they don't do taxes. So reach out to experts and let us help you plan accordingly and do something prior to filing your taxes, because even though we are great on tax planning and tax solutions, we don't have a little machine that will turn back time and help you save for this current year taxes. So enough of that. Enough of taxes. We shouldn't be talking taxes on the season, the holiday season, and on the weekend. Isn't that right? So let's dive right into our topic. Today we're gonna end up our independent contractor series. Okay, independent contractor series. This series has caused tremendous impact, and a lot of people are asking us questions. A lot of people are very interested because either they are independent contractors or they have independent contractors on their business. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to help you be compliant, okay? And I cannot stretch. We're trying to help you be compliant. That does not mean that this is a do-it-yourself project. It doesn't mean that it's do it yourself. I'm going to teach you how to do it. No, none whatsoever. That's not true. No, I am not teaching you how to do it. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to illustrate you and give you basic knowledge as a normal business owner so you can let the experts handle this matter. Okay? Let the experts handle this matter. I'm giving you enough tools. I'm giving you enough words. I'm giving you enough jargon. I'm giving you enough information so when you hire or look for that advisor, you know what to ask. You know the term that they're telling you. Because obviously they're going to try to seem that they're extremely knowledgeable. And you're going to be like, okay, I know that. I understand that. I remember that from Lunch with the Shark. I remember this from this little podcast. So this is only to illustrate you and give you enough tools and give you enough knowledge so you can interview an advisor. But don't tell them what to do. Let them do their job. Okay? So today, we're going to talk about things you must do to hire and start paying that independent contractor. We've already touched on some of the topics. We already touched on some of these items. And we're going to just refresh them, let you know on a couple of things. And I even have examples of what we have prepared for some of our clients. And believe it or not, we strategize very, 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 not aggressively, but I don't know if you guys have seen this new series on Netflix. I don't know if Jeff or Jesus can help. The one from the chess player. I think it's what is it? What's the name? Now, dude, guys, there. I'll come up to me. But this series, if you have nothing to do over the weekend, I highly recommend you this series. It's about this lady, this little girl. She is not an orphan, but the mom, it's all over the place. She actually has a fight with the dad, and the dad tries to get them back, but the mother is like an alcoholic, a drug addict, and he just gives up and goes away, walks away, right? So the mother ends up putting her daughter in a there it is, Chewy, the Queen's Gambit. It's an amazing show, series. Watch it. So she ends up in an orphanage, a run by nuns, and believe it or not, it's pretty much one of the few series that I've seen that nuns are really good. That nuns are what they're supposed to be. Like they provide them a figure, they hold them, they talk to them, they're really good, right? You don't hear or see any abuse, any punishments, like anything, right? This little girl starts learning to play chess. And when I was watching it, I was, dude, that's how I strategize when I'm doing something for a client. And you're gonna see how she looks up, and on the ceiling as she sleeps, she's going to bed, she starts seeing all the chessboard and the pieces moving around and showing this move, another move, and blah 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 blah. And I turned to Jeff and I said, "Do you know what, dude? That's what happens in my head. I actually go out and I see my brain moving the pieces of chess here and there, blah 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 blah. And, aha, and Georgia, aha, say it, aha." She's not saying it, so she's not having it. So that's the strategy for clients. So that's what happened with this one of the clients that we're gonna give you as an example, as to what are independent contractors, or how we should pay them, how we should treat them, what should we have. So over the course of this week, we have ways on how to reduce the risk of getting your independent contractors classified as employees. Trust me, everything is on the way that you handle them. Everything is on the way of what you document, what you don't document, okay? What you send them, how you treat them, how you pay them, how they're not paid. Everything is on the way of operation, okay? So we actually created 2 documents, which one of the most important ones, it's an independent contractor controls, pretty much. And this is not control over the independent contractor. These are internal controls to handle independent contractors, to handle inside the company an independent contractor, right? So this is not the only internal control you should have. You should have internal control for cash management, internal control for petty cash, internal control for banking account, internal controls for deposits, for issuing checks, for receiving invoices, for paying bills. Dude, you must have an internal control for every single action that you take in your business, right? Because when you step out, when you step back, those internal controls are actually the instructions on how to run the business when it comes to your money. Okay? So we talk about the rules that you have to follow in real life examples on the type of questions you will have regarding independent contractors. Today, we're going to focus on one of those areas that can be very tricky: the payment to independent contractors. Wow. So before you start paying or making a payment to an independent contractor, you should make sure you have at least the following paperwork in your possession. Okay? And not just have the paperwork there and very nicely done, prepared, filled in. Executed, signed by both parties. Okay? You must have independent contractor agreement. You must have a W-9 for the current year, a W-8 Ben or a W-8 Ben E if they are a foreign contractor, individual, or business. Okay? For the current year, 2020, 2019. Okay? So far, the latest W-9 that the IRS has given us was revised October 2018. Now, the W-8 Ben, which is for individuals that are foreign, okay, we have July 2017. Okay, and the W-8 Ben E, that it's for businesses, okay, businesses, companies, organizations, entities, same. It's the latest one is revised on July 2017. Okay, now I highly advise you that if the independent contractor has not provided you a fully executed W-9, W-8 Ben, W-8 Ben E, you do not disburse any payments until they do provide you one. Okay? Why? Let's recap this. As a foreign individual or as a foreign business, okay, they are providing a service to a U.S. company, okay, even though they are doing business abroad, okay, you're paying this individual through a U.S. entity or through your business as a sole proprietor. If you don't have a W-8 Ben or a W-8 Ben E regarding any case, you must withhold taxes on their payment. You must present them to the IRS, and you must give the independent contractor, the foreign independent contractor, a notice that you have withhold taxes and that you pay them to the IRS. Okay? Now, if you don't do this, and if you don't have a W-8 Ben or a W-8 Ben E, and you are audited, get audited, okay? They audit you, unfortunately, independent contractors, they're going to ask you for those documents. If you have a W-8 Ben or a W-8 Ben E, you're free, you're fine, awesome, amazing. Signed prior to the first payment. Signed and executed prior to the first payment. Okay? It's not just enough to backdate the form. Trust me. Because if this case goes to court, to a tax court, they can actually ask you for a polygraph. And they're going to ask you, when was this tax form signed? Was it signed prior to the audit? Or was it signed while we were auditing you? If they catch you, you are in contempt. Okay? So be very sure, be very cautious to sign it. If you don't have those forms and you did not withhold any taxes, you as a business owner are in the hook for those tax withholdings, penalties, and interest. You are fiduciary responsible for doing the dirty job on behalf of the IRS. Yes? Okay, so be very careful. Here are some of the biggest differences when it comes to paying an independent contractor and an employee, especially around benefits and payments. Employment loss. Employees are covered by a number of federal and state employment and labor laws where independent contractors are not. They are not covered under employment laws. Now, if you misclassify them, and they are indeed an employee, but you misclassify them for tax purposes, that doesn't preclude you, okay, from having the authorities backdate all the benefits and all requirements that any employment law gives them. That is right. They backdate from the first day that they started working, or from the very first day that the authorities think they started working. Payroll tax reporting requirements. Reports all monies paid to the employee during tax year on a W-2. Okay? You report all your employees' payroll on a W-2 once a year. Report payments of over $600 or more in a calendar year on a Form 1090 MISC for each independent contractor. Okay? Accumulative. So if you paid an independent contractor $601, you have to give them a 1099. If you pay them $599, you're okay. Don't give them a 1099. Okay? Taxes. For an employee, the company must withhold personal income tax, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax, as well as any state and local income tax from the salary or wages paid to the worker. The company must also pay Social Security, Medicare, and federal and state, if required, unemployment tax for the employees. If a worker is classified as an independent contractor, then the company typically does not withhold any taxes from the amount paid to them. Only if, yes, you got it right, only if you have W-9, W-8 Ben, W-N Ben B. Okay? You don't withhold any taxes, okay, paid to them. The company is not required to pay any taxes for that benefits of the worker. Instead, the independent contractor is responsible for paying both the employee and the employer portion of the federal and state taxes directly to the tax authority. Okay? This is something that we must address. As business owners, it is okay to pay your employee, your independent contractors, or your support, your help, your staff as independent contractors. You must be or make them aware that, first of all, they're not employees, and second, that they are going to be liable and responsible for paying those taxes at the end of the year on their own. Okay? They are going to be taxed under the federal tax law with self-employment taxes, 15.3% of 95% of their profit through that income. So let me see here. What happened, Ana Georgia? What happened? Estoy ocupado. I'm busy. I'm busy. Give me 1 second. I'll be with you. Mira, here. Say hi. Say hi to everyone. Look. Say hi. Look. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what's going on, Dile. Hi, everyone. So, isn't she cute? Okay, give me 1 second. I need to go. So you must. I'm sorry. This is a working whole household. So we must make sure that our independent contractors are fully aware that they're going to end up paying those taxes on their own. Okay. So be very cautious, be very honest with them, because I actually experienced several tax returns over every single tax season where the individual sends us their documents, and the company for which they work, they issue them a 1099. They are under the impression that through the year they've been getting taxes paid or withheld from their employment. When we prepare their tax returns, and they send us their 1099s, they send us all their forms, no expense for that business, okay? Because a 1099, it's an independent contractor. It's a self-employed. You are on the business on your own. And when they send us no expenses, well, guess what? 100% of that income, it's taxable, right? So at that, 95% of that multiplied by 15.3, that's a shitload of money that they were not aware that they were not being paid like that. So if a worker is classified as an independent contractor, the company does not typically withhold any taxes, and they are responsible for paying those taxes. Okay? When paid, an employee pay period must remain the same unless formally charged. Pay periods vary from 1 week to once a month. Federal and state law requires that an employee be paid on the normal pay date or earlier if the paycheck is not negotiable on the normal pay date and occur on a holiday. Employees are on the 15th and on the 30th. Pay period from the 1st to the 15th and from the 16th to the end of the month. Now, they are paid maybe 5, 10, 15 business days, work days, natural days, later. So obviously, or normally, their payroll will hit their banks on or before the 10th or before the 25th. That's a pay period. Okay. Now, an independent contractor, accounts payable pays a contractor after receiving an invoice. So how are you going to pay your independent contractors? Only if they submit an invoice. You don't have an invoice from your independent contractor issuing them checks every 15th, every 30th for that period. Guess what they are? Yes, you guessed right. They are employees. Okay? So your independent contractors must send you, and I'm going to read to you independent contractors payment instructions that we have sent to one of our clients' team. On behalf of the company, we want to thank you for your support under this transition. As you're aware, first payments are coming up rapidly when they are onboarded as an independent contractor. Part one, you must submit an invoice to the following email address and to the following email address as well as a copy. So the company pays invoices on a bi-monthly basis. So you must submit 2 invoices a month. Okay? Company must receive the invoices for those periods 24 hours later than the end of that period. Invoice must contain the minimum elements of the word invoice, sellers, independent contractors, name and address, contact details, and company registration number if available, meaning their tax ID number. Buyer's name and address. This is your company. This would be to whomever they are providing the service of independent contractor. Number 4, date, invoice issue date, payment date, delivery. Number 5, unique invoice reference number, invoice number. Description of services or products, including quantity, cost per unit, and total item cost. Total amount charged with tax information if applicable. Please submit this on a PDF format. It's so funny that we had to provide this detail to independent contractors when, dude, you are in business on your own. You must know things. You must know this basic information. That's why we're providing you this information. That's why we're helping you know what's the minimum requirements. You don't have to do it. This is not do it yourself. Okay? This is not do it yourself. And then we go out and say payment policy and how is it done. And this is all based on the internal controls. Like, how does the company pay? A company will pay utilizing an external service called Bill.com. This is not a plug, but if you guys want Bill.com, let us know. We can refer to them. They are really, really good. Or we actually also said we do not pay utilizing a credit card. We do not pay via PayPal. We do not pay via wire transfer. We do not pay any additional method. We only pay via Bill.com, period. That's our policy. That's our internal control. And we follow it to the dot. If you are not comfortable with receiving payment or signing up for receiving our payments, Bill.com, sorry, we are not going to issue a check and mail it to you. We're not. We're utilizing the service, and that's it. The company will be following this timelines to disburse payment. Within 1 business day of receiving invoice will be reviewed by the company. Once reviewed and within the next business day, invoice will be approved. Once approved and within the next business day, invoice will be programmed for payment through Bill.com. Company will not accept invoices outside the receiving. If invoices are received after the cut-off time, they will be programmed for the next pay period. No exceptions. Company will not disburse any payment if independent contractor is missing its form W-9, W-8 Ben, or W-8 Ben E, according, or a withholding of federal taxes at the backup withholding rate of 24% if sole proprietor or 30% if corporation will be deducted from gross pay and reported to the Internal Revenue Service. Company utilizes business days, not natural days, to account for receiving, reviewing, approving, and disbursing. Out-of-pocket expenses to be considered for reimbursement must have been pre-approved prior to incurring on them. If not, they will not be considered for reimbursement. We cannot make it clear for the independent contractor what our internal policy comes to pay vendors invoices. Independent contractors are vendors. Independent contractors must act like vendors, not as an employees. Okay, Hernan has a question. Speaking of invoices, can we get an invoice for an order of those desserts behind you? Ana Georgia, you have an order. Hernan, how are you? Thank you so much. Yesterday we had a blast. We were guests at the Bros podcast. Jeff and I, we had a blast. Thank you. Tune in. I think Jeff will post in our social media a link to it. It was really fun. It's always fun chatting with those guys. So basically, treat your independent contractors as vendors. They are vendors. Okay. Unemployment. Employers report for state and federal unemployment insurance for employees, where an independent contractor does not need to report anything to the government at all. They don't qualify for unemployment. They are in business for themselves. They're self-employed. They're freelancers. They are in business on their own. Business expenses. Receives tools and materials necessary for completing their work, plus reimbursement for business expenses. Employees. Independent contractors, they don't get reimbursed for office supplies, tools, their inventory, their computers. They don't. That's part of doing business. Dude, come on. Don't ask for being reimbursed for those merchant fees that PayPal is charging me to receive the money from you. Really? Do you think that whenever you go to McDonald's, they add their merchant fee to your food? It's already included in the price that you're paying. It's part of doing business. Benefits. Employees can receive company benefit, paid leave, insurance, retirement. Where in an independent contractor, they don't get benefits. They don't. I have a case, and it was so funny because there was this case from this independent contractor, and she was an independent contractor. We had agreements, we had everything, right? But her mindset was not as an independent contractor, right? She sent us an invoice every month for my services and described them. Every month was different project, like whatever. Blah, blah. So the company terminated her independent contractor. So she sends a very interesting letter or email saying, hey, according to my state labor law, you have to give me 30 days notice prior for termination. You need to pay 3 months of my salary. I'm like, why? What's going on? Like, what the hell? So I review all her file, and I don't know, for some instance, I review her last weeks of emails. But on the third day of her last week of emails, I saw that she had emailed the company her invoice for services. Her invoice. So obviously I replied to her and I said, you know what, I'm sorry that we had terminated your agreement, your contract with the company, independent contractor. Please find attached the last invoice that was paid on that you submitted as an independent contractor. Therefore, you cannot claim that you were our employee. Therefore, unfortunately, you are not subject to benefits or be treated as an employee. You actually agree. You actually kept sending us month after month, right? What happened? Nothing. She was an independent contractor without benefits, right? So be very careful, document everything, be compliant. This is not a do it yourself. Don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to Google the chingaderas on your own. It was funny because yesterday we were talking, and James, and I don't know what we were talking about. And it was, oh, yes, it was about a lady who, the same thing happened. They 1099 her at her business, at her employment, under the impression that she was getting twos, right? In this case, the owner it's at fault. The owner was scamming the employees because their employees, he's actually telling them that they're having their taxes withheld, but at the end of the year, he's giving them 1099s, right? So that's wrong, right? That's don't be an asshole. Don't do that. If you're a boss, you're your employer, be an asshole. Don't do that. Don't serve your employees. Fuck that. I hate that. And I'm actually going to help this lady to file a labor board dispute and actually file a complaint with the IRS because that's not right. Karma, it's a bitch, dude. So this lady was searching and doing, and I don't know what we were talking about. So I said, you know what? I responded to one of our former clients. I said, you know what? If Google told you to do so, and right now, because Google told you to do so, and you're in the court trying to negotiate or find a solution to this problem, well, why don't you bring Google in as your witness? Or why don't you hire Google as your attorney to help you with this shit? The same thing I tell you. Don't put a template from Google, because when you're in a big mess, are you going to go to Google website and say, hey, you made me do this. Your template was not accurate. Nope. It doesn't work like that. As you see, independent contractors and employees differ tremendously. If you are ever trying to determine whether someone should be considered an independent contractor versus an employee, run these types of questions to a professional that can actually help you determine which is the best one for you. Now, if you're going to run it through a professional, don't ask them the same questions in 10 different ways because you're not getting the same answer. We notice. We are not stupid. We notice. We know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a different answer by asking the same questions in 10 different ways. Don't do that. Don't undermine us. Now, if you don't like the answer, most likely is because it doesn't benefit you. Okay? If you don't like the answer, most likely is you're not going to follow us. If you don't like, ask. Right? But be conscious that the risk that you're running, that's the same question I ask my clients when we do tax planning. This is what it's going to happen. This is what could happen. This is the impact that you can have. You want to do this? Are you willing to run the risk of this total amount of penalties? Can you live without $10,000? Yeah, okay, let's do it. But send me an email. Okay? So next week, we will be conducting another one of our hot seats. Remember what's a hot seat? We'll interview you, we'll ask you questions, and you actually ask us to help you solve issues in your company. Right? And again, we're going to do it in Spanish. Again, this is going to be for the Hispanic Latin market. And you can actually sign up at invictusadvisors.com/hot seats for English, and or invictusadvisors.com/convocatoria for Spanish hot seats. Are you interested? Send us an email. Send us an email. We can help you. We love this type of hot seats and exercises because, and remember, you are not alone. And the most interesting thing is that your problem, it's not just yours. Every single business owner either has it and solved it, or it's currently going through that same shit. So don't be sad. Don't be afraid. Don't worry, because every problem has a solution. And make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, which includes Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Each channel has different content, so make sure you subscribe to them. And you might see some of my content there. Ignore it, or if like it, or don't like it, whatever. I am very opinionated, and I do post shit. So whomever doesn't like it, who likes it, good for you. But sometimes I do cross-sharing between mine and the business. I know it's not right, but that's me. Today's quote, Jesus and Jeffrey are pulling their hair like, why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? That's my marketing team. And even communities there must be like, holy shit, Vidal, don't post that from Donald Trump. Oh, Vidal, don't retweet what Donald Trump is tweeting. I don't do that. I'm not in Twitter that much, but stop complaining about the SBA. Dude, stop complaining about this. It is what it is, right? It's life. Today's quote comes from Farah Gray, who is an American businessman, investor, author, columnist, and motivational speaker. And he said, build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build them. I hope she is listening to us today. She hears this podcast. Yesterday, I actually said the following thing to someone. If you were this invest in your own company that you just created, the way that you are invested in your employer, you will be a multi-millionaire. Just think about that. Have an amazing weekend. Relax, decompress, purge. Forget about it. Relájate. Relax. See you next week. It's seeing you this week. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with the Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.